Let's talk about the Bible's first action hero. Before David fought Goliath, before Samson tore apart lions, there was Nimrod, a guy so legendary that his name became a catchphrase. Even today, calling someone a Nimrod means something, though Bugs Bunny totally changed the meaning. This grandson of Ham didn't just hunt animals. He hunted greatness and founded the cities that would define human civilization. But here's the twist. He was African, from Cush's line. And his story is way more complex than your Sunday school flannel graph showed. Genesis 10:8-12 in the Berean Standard Bible gives us more detail about Nimrod than almost any other person in the genealogies. Cush was the father of Nimrod, who became the first mighty warrior on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. That is why it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. From that land he went to Assyria, where he built Nineveh, Rehoboth-ur, Calah, and Rezin. This guy founded 8 major cities, including Babylon and Nineveh. That's not hunting. That's empire building. The phrase, mighty hunter before the Lord, in Hebrew, is fascinating. The word before, lifnei, can mean in the presence of, or in the face of. It could be positive, doing something for God, or negative, doing something in opposition to God. Jewish tradition is split. Some see him as a hero who hunted dangerous animals threatening humanity after the flood. Others see him as a tyrant who hunted men's souls, turning them from God. The ambiguity might be intentional. Nimrod was complicated. Here's what's mind-blowing. An African founded Babylon. Nimrod, from Cush's line, associated with Ethiopia, Sudan, went north and established the cities that would dominate Mesopotamia. This completely breaks our racial and geographical assumptions. The Tower of Babel, that was probably Nimrod's project. The Babylonian Empire that would later exile Judah, founded by Ham's grandson. The Assyrian Empire that destroyed northern Israel. Nimrod built their capital, Nineveh. Archaeological evidence suggests Nimrod might be connected to several historical figures. Some scholars link him to Sargon of Akkad, the first person to unite Mesopotamia under one rule. Others connect him to Gilgamesh, the legendary king of Uruk, biblical Erech, who is described as 2/3 divine and 1/3 human. The Epic of Gilgamesh describes him as a mighty hunter and builder. Still others suggest Enmerkar, who supposedly built Uruk and attempted to build a ziggurat to heaven. We can't prove which, if any, is Nimrod, but the descriptions match remarkably well. The name Nimrod itself is controversial. In Hebrew, it comes from the root marad, meaning to rebel. So his name literally means we will rebel, or the rebel. That's not a name parents give hoping for a compliant child. This was someone destined to challenge the status quo. Some scholars think it's not his original name, but a Hebrew play on the Mesopotamian god Ninurta, or the city Nimrod. Either way, the Bible presents him as a rebel figure. Jewish and Islamic traditions expand Nimrod's story dramatically. They claim he was the king who threw Abraham into a fiery furnace for refusing to worship idols. The Quran mentions a king, unnamed but traditionally identified as Nimrod, who argued with Abraham about God. If these traditions preserve historical memory, Nimrod wasn't just a city builder. He was the first post-flood tyrant who tried to unite humanity against God. The Tower of Babel wasn't just about tall buildings. It was about replacing God with human achievement. But here's what we need to consider. Nimrod was responding to real problems. After the flood, dangerous animals would have multiplied faster than humans. Someone needed to protect struggling settlements. The command to fill the earth was hard when people were scattered and vulnerable. Nimrod's cities provided safety, organization, and culture. His mistake wasn't building cities, but building them for human glory rather than God's. He turned necessary leadership into tyrannical control. The influence of Nimrod's cities on human history is incalculable. Babylon gave us writing, cuneiform, law, Hammurabi's code, mathematics, base 60 system we still use for time, and astronomy. Nineveh's library preserved the world's oldest literature. These cities pioneered irrigation, urban planning, and bureaucracy. Every city on Earth owes something to the urban innovations Nimrod initiated. When Revelation talks about Babylon the Great, it's referring to a system that started with Nimrod. Modern Iraq is where Nimrod built his cities. The ruins of Babylon, Nineveh, and other sites still exist. ISIS tried to destroy Nimrod's tomb and the ancient city of Nimrud in 2015, recognizing these sites' importance to human heritage. The fact that terrorists 4,500 years later still fear Nimrod's legacy shows his lasting impact. The conflicts in modern Mesopotamia echo back to the rebellion Nimrod started. So, here's the complex truth about Nimrod. He was incredibly gifted, a natural leader, visionary builder, and protector of humanity. But he used those gifts to build human kingdoms that competed with God's kingdom. He turned necessary civilization into rebellious empire. He's both humanity's hero and its first tyrant. The Bible includes him not as pure villain or hero, but as a warning about misdirected greatness. Your takeaway? First, your gifts don't determine your goodness. Nimrod was massively gifted, but possibly massively rebellious. Second, building great things isn't automatically good. It matters why you build, and who gets the glory. Third, Africa's contributions to world civilization include founding the cities that created civilization itself. Nimrod proves Ham's descendants weren't cursed. They were world builders whose ambition needed divine direction. Application. We're all Nimrods in some way. Gifted people who can build great things but must choose whether to build for God's glory or our own. Your career, family, influence, these are your cities. Build them well, but remember, Babel, the moment you build to make a name for yourself rather than glorify God, you're repeating Nimrod's mistake. Be a mighty hunter before the Lord, not against him. Build cities, but build them as sanctuaries, not substitutes for God. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.